Hello, and welcome to another edition of Ben Wilkoff Debriefs the Transition. Today I get to debrief a rather unique experience that happened yesterday at the Ed Garage, which just happens to be where we are headed this afternoon for part of our retreat. But yesterday I was facilitating a lunch and learn session on the From One to One work that we are doing in Aurora Public Schools. And there were folks from Galvanize there were some folks from the Ed Garage itself, there were some folks who were in other ed tech startups and other folks who are just educators in general. And so we get to talk through who our students are, what our devices are, what the relationship between those two things are, and what the right sort of environment is for classrooms and for the learning environments that they are trying to create. But there were two amazing statements that were made by participants, so I got to learn quite a bit in that space as well. And the two statements that I'd like to debrief are this. Statement one was by a woman who does a lot of development of e-learning and online learning modules and things like that. And she said, sometimes a piece of paper is the second screen. And she was talking about students who are working on a device and they need a second screen in order to hold their information, in order to write something out, in order to create something. And the piece of paper is the second screen. And I had never really thought about piece of paper as second screen, but it really speaks to the things that we talk about when we say choose the right tool to do the job, right? And the answer isn't always a device. So that was statement one, and I think there's something really powerful about thinking about paper as a second screen. Statement two was by one of the educators over at Galvanize, and they do a lot of work around computer science and teaching kids who are somewhat apathetic, somewhat excited. It sort of runs the whole gamut. But he said, a device only turns into a tool when you know how to use it. And he may have said it better than that, but essentially a device is just a device until you know how to use it, and then it becomes a tool for your learning. And it made me think about both of those things, about paper as a second screen, and about devices that have not yet become tools. And so the question that I continue to be grappling with is, how do we make the right use of our paper resources, of our resources that are not about the device? And how do we turn the device into a tool for learning? How do we ensure that that process is happening and that it isn't just staying a device that sits on a desk or that stays locked in a cart, right? How are we transitioning from device to tool? And that they know how to use, right? Like, if you know how to use it, it becomes a tool. If you have been supported by an educator, by a peer, in knowing how to use that device, it becomes a tool for your learning. And so that's what I'm grappling with. And I wonder how you turn your devices into tools, how you help teachers turn their devices into tools and students to do the same, by understanding how to use them. How do you look at paper as a second screen, as an opportunity for you to capture thinking that you can't capture in any other way, or that this is the best way to capture? Those are the two things that I'm thinking about. Hopefully we have a great day of teaching, learning, leading, and creating all together during the retreat. I'm very excited about that, and I will see you in just a little bit.